Thank you for stopping by to learn a little bit about the Change Communication Lab being offered at Rockland Community College. My name is Lawrence Polsky. I'll be leading the workshop, and I'll be leading this short overview. I wanted to spend a few minutes with you just telling you about the program, but first, just briefly about our company, PeopleNRG. Something's wrong here. To learn a little bit about the Change Communication Lab that we're offering at Rockland Community College. My name is Lawrence Polsky. I'll be leading the workshop, the Change Communication Lab, and also telling you briefly about it right now. Before we jump in, I just wanted to give you a brief overview, 30 seconds or so, about PeopleNRG, which is the company that I'm a managing partner at, so you can understand our point of view on the topic. We've had the pleasure and the opportunity to work with leaders around the world on 5 different continents to talk about leadership, performance management, building teams, and leading change. And we've also had the pleasure to work with some well-known companies in various industries and various geographies. And from all that, my business partner and I, Antoine Grishel is my business partner, he and I have developed a point of view and some expertise on leading change. This is not only based on coaching, consulting, and training leaders, but we ourselves have worked inside global organizations as leaders implementing a variety of changes. From all that, we wrote a book which was released in February of 2010. It's done very well and been quite popular, and as a result of that, we have a series of workshops related to the content in the program. This change related to content in the book. This change program that you're considering attending is drawn from the material in this book, and in fact, you will receive this book as part of the program. As a conceptual overview, just a little background, this is what we find people want when they're leading change. They want a smooth road, they want a pretty scene, they want it to be sort of idyllic and kind of easy as they're going along. This is what deep down people really want. However, unfortunately, what people get is this. They get a road that's washed out. They get a road that's covered with a mudslide. It's hard to find your way. And we end up standing on this cliff saying, oh my gosh, what has happened? How are we going to make it over there and overcome this change that was unexpected? And at the same time, we have to create enthusiasm and commitment. And so that's really the challenge for leaders, and it's the challenge that we're going to address in this workshop, is how do you create enthusiasm and commitment in a situation such as represented in this picture? And we all know, given the current economic situation, the current business challenges, it's really not so different from this picture. So the Change Communication Lab, what is it? It's an opportunity to learn some key skills around communicating change as outlined in our book. One of the key things we'll learn about are 3 main elements of any effective change message. We'll talk about that. We'll give you a tool on how to create an effective change message and do an activity around that. We'll talk about specifically what are the 4 keys to announcing change effectively. We'll go through each of those. We'll have another interactive activity. We'll get the opportunity to practice announcing change based on your real situation. We'll discuss the challenges of different media and communicating through different media when you have people located in different buildings and different locations and sometimes even different countries. We'll talk specifically about how do you communicate the business case of change clearly and succinctly. And we'll help you in answering questions about change. Often when change is announced, there's lots of questions. Some are asked, some aren't asked. But as a leader, a key factor in our ability to develop the trust of our people and the commitment of our people is how we handle those questions. So we'll talk about that also in the workshop. Just to be clear, what we're going to be going over, it's not about a schedule. It's not about saying exactly the right thing perfectly and hanging up posters. It's not all about that. Change communication really comes down to dialogue between you and your employees. No matter what email you craft or town hall meeting you have, ultimately you're working with these people on a day-to-day basis, and the dialogue that you're able to create with people is going to greatly impact your ability to get their commitment. And that's what the Change Communication Lab is about. How do you create effective dialogue during change? We'll be using as a framework our Yes to Change methodology, which is a three-phase methodology. We talk about introducing change, which we call Yikes to Yay, where you want to get people from feeling scared and saying yikes to change to getting them positive about change and understanding the change and getting buy-in to the change. That's the announcing change. And the second phase of change has to do with executing change and getting performance on target, handling emotions, dealing with resistance, getting teams organized. And the third area has to do with sustaining all of this, which is really about changing your mindset and changing the company's mindset. So the program is based on this methodology, and we'll talk about each phase and how it has its own communication challenges. Rest assured, this program will be highly interactive. If you had to listen to me talk all day, you would be bored out of your mind, and I would be too. There's going to be lots of opportunities for activities, worksheets, practice, skits, demonstrations, pair discussions, all kinds of different ways. It's called a laboratory because it's an opportunity for a small group of people to practice their skills, develop their skills, and get feedback from the other people in the room as well as from myself. Closing thought, something to consider before you consider signing up for this program, is our book is called Perfect Phrases for Communicating Change. But this program in no way is about coming up with the perfect phrase, because there is no perfect phrase for change. You craft what you think you should say, you go into the room or go into your meeting, and life happens. There's someone sitting across the desk or sitting across the room from you, and they're a human being. They respond in ways that you don't expect, and you have to be able to create a dialogue. So this program is not about creating a perfect phrase. It's about giving you some skills to be able to think on your feet and communicate effectively when you're in the midst of change. I hope you'll consider our program, and I look forward to meeting you. If you have more questions about the program, you'd like more information, you could feel free to contact me directly at the information on the screen, which is lpolsky with a Y at PeopleNRG.com, or you could call me at 609-333-0653. Thanks so much, and have a great day.